Happy Monday, friends. Dharma Shakti here, your host with your weekly dose of something inspirational. Welcome back to Monday Message. I am here to talk about purpose today. I was thinking a lot about how I could present a really great quote to you on purpose, and I can't do it without quoting Wayne Dyer. He has one of my favorite quotes about purpose. I know that for a lot of us, purpose is something that we feel like we're chasing. Purpose is something that we feel like we can't get a grasp on. Purpose is something that often we really, really desire, but we don't really know how to get there or how to achieve it or how to get clarity on it. And so I'm hoping that this quote can be a little bit of a compass for you in your pursuit for connection with your purpose. So I'm gonna start with this quote by Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite quotes, and also Wayne Dyer is just one of my favorite thought leaders. If you haven't read any of his work, I highly recommend it. Wayne Dyer says, if you want to find your purpose, then show up on purpose. And he says that in fact, when you show up on purpose, if you do that enough, you won't be able to hide from your purpose. Now, what does he mean when he says show up on purpose? In my opinion, my humble opinion, I think that he means that we just need to show up in alignment, show up with integrity, show up intentionally. So first, we need to figure out what our values are. Integrity is when you live in alignment with your values. Now, in order to live in alignment with your values, you have to know what your values are. So if you really value having a lot of fun and living a very playful life, then you got to show up fun and playful. If you value honesty, transparency, then you got to show up intentionally as an honest person, as a transparent person, especially when it's hard, even when it's vulnerable, and most definitely when it's difficult. Right? When you show up on purpose, not just in the easy moments, but in the difficult moments, when you show up on purpose, right? When you know that you really align with healing and wellness, and so you are going to sign up for a course or a class or a training, and so you show up intentionally and purposefully. You show up with courage and bravery and vulnerability to those things with the intention to learn and to grow and to live into that. You're showing up intentionally. You're showing up on purpose. Basically, you're not just going through the motions. You're not just showing up just because someone told you to do it or because it was popular to do it, or it just seemed like, if I get that piece of paper, then that might be the nice next best step for me. It's not about getting the paper. It's not about just going through the motions. It really is about intention. It's about your effort, your mindset, and mostly your heart set. Showing up on purpose means that you're showing up with your heart, you're leading with your heart, and you are being your most authentic self as you're doing that. Now, this is another one of those elusive things that a lot of us are chasing, is how do we live authentically? Again, I'm going to bring you right back to your value system. What do you value? What do you value? Do you value spontaneity? Do you value creativity and art? Do you value holistic living? Do you value trust? Do you value friendship? Do you value alone time and solitude? Or do you value socializing a lot? You have to get really clear on what your values are, because your values are what's going to help you live authentically. They are sort of your guiding post, basically, of who you are. And of course, over time, our values change. That's natural. What we value in our 20s is very different than what we value in our 30s. And look, if you've been following me for a long time, I know that I've made videos about this before, but we always need a reminder, and it's always good to check in. So maybe reassess what your values are. And if you've never done this exercise with me, I am so glad that you're here today. Take some time to write down 10 values, 10 to 15 values. Right? For me, I value authenticity. I value honesty, communication, transparency. I honor and really value vulnerability and courage. But that also means that if I'm going to live in integrity and I'm going to live authentically, then I have to live in alignment with those things, which requires me doing that on purpose. Those things don't just happen by default. I have to purposefully choose to behave that way and to do those things and bring those qualities into the moments of my life. Not just the easy ones, but especially the challenging ones. if I value patience and compassion and kindness, understanding and empathy, then I also have to be that way with others. I can't just value it and expect other people to give it to me. That's not showing up on purpose. That's just called being self-centered. So you have to show up purposefully as a compassionate person, as a patient person. You have to really be intentional. You have to hold that mood. You have to lean into the difficulty to be patient when every part of you wants to be impatient, right? You have to align with those things to be in integrity and to be authentic to the truth of who you are in this moment, in this time that you're in this chapter and season that you're in. Now, when you do those things, you are living purposefully, right? You are living on purpose. You're behaving a certain way on purpose because you value it, because it's important to you, because you feel better when you show up that way, because it's meaningful to you. When you're showing up on purpose like that, you start to align, right? You align with your values, you align with your integrity, you align with the truth of who you are. And when you find that inner alignment, you start to find the outer alignment. And your purpose in life starts to become visible to you. It starts to be clarified for you. It starts to have little hints. That was the word I was looking for. There you start to get these little hints or these little messages in your life about what you are meant to do, your purpose in life. And I just also, on the topic of purpose, a lot of us have this notion that purpose means it's career oriented, that our purpose has to be what we do for a living. And that's just not always the case. It may be. And also, even if you are feeling like you are living your purpose in your career, it doesn't mean that there aren't other areas of your life where you also can find your purpose. In the yogic tradition, it tells us that we actually have many purposes. Our Dharma, there are many different types of Dharma in our lives, and the soul's true Dharma is the purpose of the soul. The true purpose of the soul is to connect with its source. And then there are our social dharmas, then there are our career path dharmas, and there's just many, many layers to our purpose. And so don't get so myopic with it that it just has to be this one thing and it's got to be so obvious. But back to my point is coming back to this awareness of, let me just start by living purposefully. Let me live purposefully. How do I get clear on what purposeful living looks like for me? And so again, I encourage you to come back to just getting clear on what are your values and finding out how you can live more in alignment with those values. Which values have you not been living in alignment with? Which values have you neglected or forgotten about? Which values have you sort of put on other people but haven't really practiced yourself? And so take some time today and this week to reflect. What are your values? What do you value? What really makes you feel like a whole person? Makes you feel good and makes you feel aligned with the core of who you are. And oftentimes our values are based on our conditioning. And so I really challenge you to challenge yourself on your values. Is that something I really value, or is that just something I was taught to value? And even if you were taught to value it and you also value it, that's okay. But sometimes some of us are carrying values that other people told us were important, but maybe aren't so important to us. And so that's why we're not so apt to live in alignment with it. And so it may be time to let that value go and discover what your own personal values are. So if you show up on purpose, your purpose will find you. Be intentional and get clear on what you value and why you're doing what you're doing, and just show up purposefully. I'm going to show up to my day today with intention and clarity about what I'm doing, because when I have intention and clarity, it makes me feel sane and it makes me feel happy. I'm going to show up today with a loving heart because I enjoy to express love and to receive love. I'm going to show up today with patience because I really value it when people are patient with me, and I want to be more patient with myself. I'm just riffing on some examples for you to kind of trigger the the thought process for you. So yeah, I hope that you found this video helpful and insightful, and that you take time today to think about what you value and what brings you joy. And from there, figure out how you can live more purposefully into those things, right? With purpose, with intention, with awareness, with clarity, and a connection behind what you're doing. That's really what purpose is, right? And that has meaning and value for you. So take some time, excuse me, take some time to think about those things and journal about them, and just let the ideas and the awarenesses just sort of let the information percolate, is what I'm saying. Like, let what I'm saying to you kind of settle in, and give yourself time this week to let the answers come out from within you. They're in there. That wisdom is in there. The truth of who you are is in there. It's just about getting clear enough and quiet enough and real enough, honest enough to connect with the truth that is within you. So I hope that you enjoy this week, and that you enjoy connecting to what you value, and you enjoy connecting more to showing up more purposefully every day this week. If you'd like to hear more about purpose, I have a really amazing exercise that we are going to be doing in my group coaching program tomorrow, writing a purpose manifesto. One of my favorite things to do with my one-on-one coaching clients. We are going to be doing it as a group in the group coaching program. We're going to be doing it in the Empowered Way session tomorrow. So if you'd like to hop in to this group coaching program, you can enroll anytime. You don't need to start at the beginning. You can just join our group coaching every Tuesday. It's called the Empowered Way, and it is a program that's helped many people and is for helping many people. It's a program that is to help you live a much more empowered, heart-centered life. So if that's what you're looking for, and you need some guidance, some wisdom, some inspiration, some assistance, some support, and some accountability, this is the program for you. And I'm very excited that tomorrow we will be going over our purpose manifesto and actually writing that out, figuring out for ourselves some kind of manifesto that helps us stay connected to the purpose of our lives for the chapters that we're in. So I'll drop it in the bio down below, the link to check out the Empowered Way if you're interested. Again, it's a weekly meetup we do every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Recordings are always made available. You can go back and watch all of our sessions that we've had since the beginning. And this is an ongoing enrollment. You can enter into the Empowered Way at any time. You don't need to start at the beginning. So if you are looking to feel empowered, please come join us. We'd love to have you. All right, my friends, from my heart to yours, so much love from me to you. May you live a much more purpose-driven, intentional week this week. Peace and blessings, and namaste.